I recently had the revelation that Disneyland is actually a manifestation of Walt Disney's natal chart. Furthermore, Disneyland's natal chart for this opening day in 1955 at 10 a.m. also lines up perfectly with Walt Disney's chart. Disneyland's an extension of its creator. It's a merging of the man with the mouse and a natal chart we can physically walk around in. Disneyland was Walt's Uranus return-inspired dream, and he touched every single part of the park up until his death in 1966. It was more than just a dream, it was a Plutonian, Uranian-driven obsession. In this video, we will cover the Disney first house and seventh house axis. So when you enter Disneyland, you're on the outside, only able to see the train station, and you have to go through a type of birth of sorts. You're leaving the land of today to enter the land of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. So when you go through this tunnel, you are entering into Walt Disney's ascendant, his first house. Both Walt Disney and Disneyland's ascendants are in Virgo, which is represented by this entry where you are birthed into this natal chart, and that's Main Street, USA. Main Street, USA is an idealized, Virgo-perfected version of reality, and it's themed to resemble American small towns during the early 20th century, specifically the town that Walt spent part of his boyhood in Missouri it's modeled after. Walt Disney said, "For those of us who remember the carefree time it recreates, Main Street will bring back happy memories. For younger visitors, it's an adventure in turning back the calendar to the days of their grandfather's youth." At this point, probably great-grandfather or great-great-grandfather. The shops in Main Street are very Virgo practical. They mirror the types of shops you might frequent in an ideal small downtown or even on down to the fortune teller. On the windows of the shops, the former esteemed employees' names have been immortalized, and this is a high honor reserved for those who reach the pinnacle of Virgo-level mastery in their work for the Disney company. It's extremely rare to get this honor and to be included in the Main Street Window Club. It only happens upon retirement, only the highest level of service, respect, or achievement, and there has to be an agreement between the top park management and the Walt Disney Imagineering team. So it's really hard to get to this perfection, this high idealized version of the employee and the work that they do to get a window. One of these windows is a tribute to the Sherman Brothers, who contributed their musical talents to the Disneyland park, and lots of great live action pieces, Mary Poppins, and so forth. And they also penned the earworm theme song for It's a Small World, which Time.com listed as the most played song ever. And it's true, we recently rode that ride, and it's ridiculous how many times they play that song over and over again. So here on Main Street, Virgo cleanliness is the key. Everything is just so. The perfectionism goes down to the details. It's evidenced in the famous red and white light bulb at the Coke corner. Apparently in 1955, the electricians installed light bulb fixtures for alternating red and white light bulbs and found that they had an odd number of fixtures above the front door. So that meant two bulbs of the same color would have to be right next to each other. That was not Virgo good. Walt solved the problem himself by suggesting that they paint a bulb half white and half red so that the alternating sequence could be maintained. With Mercury ruling Virgo and Walt's Mercury landing in his third house, which represents the local neighborhood, short distance travel, communication, amongst other things, we can see the strong Mercury signature of this being a type of neighborhood, a marketplace where money is exchanged, which is also ruled by Mercury. The main activities on Main Street are commerce, communication parades, and short distance transportation and old-time style vehicles. We also find Walt hero, that was Abraham Lincoln. There's an entire attraction dedicated to him on Main Street. Lincoln appealed to Disney's Virgo ascendant because Lincoln wanted to improve the world, bring things into balance, closer to the perfect American ideal. And in that same attraction, you'll find the bench that Disney sat on when he dreamed up Disneyland while watching his daughters on the carousel in a Los Angeles park. Above the firehouse in Town Square at Disneyland is Walt Disney's personal apartment. It's fully furnished, but it's off limits to the public. Back in the time when he was alive, a light shining in the window indicated he was in the park, and the light was extinguished to signify his passing in 1966, but the next morning the lamp was on again to signify his presence in the park and remains lit every day, 24/7, since that time in 1966. So this is the most practical and frankly mundane areas of Disneyland. It's one of the most beloved. It ushers guests into yesteryear, but it's still familiar territory. It transitions guests to the more exciting and adventurous areas of the park and Walt Disney's chart. So when we enter through the first house, the Virgo house, we go straight ahead, and at the center of the park there is something called the Central Hub. And there is a statue that marries Walt Disney to the literal place of Disneyland and his famous creation, Mickey Mouse. If Main Street is Walt Disney and Disneyland's Virgo ascendant, then directly across from that is his 7th house of Pisces, imagination, romanticism, the famous Disneyland Castle, and Fantasyland. Walt's 7th house is Pisces, and Pisces is ripe with imagination, fantasy, illusions, just as Fantasyland is. This land recreates Disney's Peter Pan dreams that started when he was in the play Peter Pan as a child. And here in Fantasyland, he also expressed the love he had for his children, the relational 7th house, the very significant one-on-one relationships he had with them, enjoying the time, taking them to go on the merry-go-round in that park in Los Angeles. He wanted other families to have that opportunity to enjoy time with their children in a safe and clean environment. And this is one of the strangest, most popular, busiest places in the entire park, where imaginations can run wild along some characters from classic films, like a dangerous toad who drives around, flying elephants, jaunts with Snow White, and lessons learned from Pinocchio's mistakes. There's even a miniature lover's paradise in Storybook Land where you enter through the mouth of Monstro the whale. It's a terrifying rite of passage for any child. I definitely have frightening memories of going into that whale mouth as a child, and it continues on today for the children of the future. There's something just dangerous lingering in these fantastical Piscean places, this imagination land. It's safe, but at the same time, it's not safe. But with it being the 7th house and ruled by Disney's Jupiter, which is conjunct Saturn in the Capricorn 5th house, which represents children, and Capricorn is the hard lessons that lead to solidarity, the adventures that make you worthy, the ones you love are there to hold your hand, 7th house, right through the mouths of whales. And if you get lost, there's always a light on, drawing you somewhere safe, to that Virgo perfected past, and it's also back to the exit into the real world. So that was the 1st and 7th house representing Walt Disney and Disneyland's chart. The significations of the rest of the chart can also be found in Disneyland very specifically, and if you like this video, please let me know and I will make more of them. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.